And we have learned, or should have learned, that they are sonic creatures. They live in a world of sound. They have a larger brain than we do, and they don't belong in captivity. That's the first thing we should have learned. You don't have to have dolphins in captivity in order to educate people about dolphins, any more than you have to have dinosaurs in captivity to educate people about dinosaurs. Capturing dolphins from the wild and calling that conservation. And nobody's paying attention. It just goes over everybody's head. You control them with their food, with the food deprivation. Everything they do is for food reward. And they rebel against that. Good to see you. How long has it been since I've been here?
10 years.
You don't age. You don't seem to age, did you?
This is Carl, by the way. She's going to be our videographer.
How do you do?
Para sa inyong mga tanong, tawag lang o text sa 0926-680-8283. Mag-break muna tayo dito lang sa Pinoy Scientist.
On the Dolphin Trail. That's where I've spent most of my life, on the Dolphin Trail.
Ang ating special guest ngayon, all the way from Taiji, Japan, isang sikat na environmentalist and dolphin activist, Mr. Ric OBarry.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here. I was here 10 years ago.
Can you tell us, why are you here in the Philippines?
Well, there are dolphins in the Philippines that were captured violently in the Solomon Islands and in Taiji, Japan. And anybody listening who has seen the movie The Cove know how violent those captures are. The fishermen who kill the dolphins, they only get maybe $500 for a dead dolphin, but for a live dolphin they get as much as $150,000.
That much?
Yes, so it's the captures of dolphins in Taiji is the economic underpinning of the dolphin slaughter. That's what keeps it going. And now, unfortunately, the Philippines is part of that because of not Filipinos, but Americans who are doing this. So some people say, well, they could live longer in captivity, or they live. It's not about that. It's about the quality of life, not the quantity. You can keep somebody alive in this very room we're in right now for a very long time. But are they really living? Living is doing things. Living is about choices and decisions. And in captivity, all that is taken away from you. We should never be applauding any wild animal performing for us. So there is a congressman here who is going to introduce legislation, and I think that's the first place in the world. So the Philippines is really on the cutting edge of this issue. I wish we could find somebody in America to do that. And what is his name?
Congressman Raymond Palatino of the Kabataan
Raymond
Party.
Palatino, if you're out there listening, thank you, thank you, thank you. And if anybody out there listening knows Congressman Palatino, please call him and thank him, because this is the way to go.
There's this Iranian guy who wants to have a facility somewhere down in Mindanao. What he's doing is that he's getting some quote-unquote rescue dolphins, and he puts this at the facility where he says he's rehabilitating them. But after some years, some of the animals are already dying. From originally 6 dolphins, they're now down to 3. And the provincial government now is questioning why the dolphins aren't being released.
So were the dolphins captured in that area or rescued?
They were quote-unquote rescued by fishermen who said they had, we saw this dolphin stranding somewhere and we're turning it over to this facility for rehabilitation, but they never released it.
How long ago was that?
6 years ago.
Oh God, 6 years.
So tomorrow we fly back to Manila again on the next day.
Next day. So we stay at the resort there.
Yes, overnight.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have just landed at Ozamis Airport, and Cebu Pacifica welcomes you to Ozamis.
diving with the dolphins, play in the water with them. That's not rehabilitation. Rehabilitation, you do the opposite. So it's a totally commercial operation. All the money goes to the Iranian
And the
owner.
Iranian doesn't report to them, she said, and it doesn't have the necessary permit. And well, she was saying also that the dolphins are dying.
They're operating above the law. Okay? Don't be surprised if they know.
All right.
From what I'm told, they have no license. They don't have a permit to do this. But we'll see. We're going to do a little investigation and find out what's really going on. Most of this cage is 3 or 4 feet deep. They built it out here on this sandbar about 5 miles from the mainland to facilitate people, not dolphins. These dolphins need a lot of range and they need deep water. Pacific spotted dolphin. They don't appear to have been in captivity a very long time. They seem to be wild animals still. Although we were initially told they were here for 6 years. I'm very skeptical about that. They don't have any rake marks on their body, so they haven't been fighting. The three get along pretty well, it seems. The younger one stays by himself unless they're feeding him like they are now. They were captured right back here, just a few miles, and it would be a simple piece of business to take some blood tests, make sure that they don't have any pathogens, any disease to transmit to the wild population, make sure they're eating live fish again by introducing live fish in here, and simply release them in their home range where their family is. That's not a big deal. It can be done very, very inexpensively, very cost effective. It's actually less expensive to release them than it is to keep them in captivity. This is where they were captured, right out here, or they were stranded or accidentally got caught in nets. That's where they came from, out there. It'd be great to see them go back to their original home range. Their family is out there. So this is supposed to be a non-profit dolphin rehabilitation and release center. And when you're rehabilitating dolphins, and I've done that in Guatemala, Nicaragua, Colombia, Brazil, Haiti, when you're preparing them to be released into the wild, the last thing you want to do is make contact with them like that, swim with them and bond with them. This is actually a commercial dolphin swim program disguised as a rehab and release center. They're free-ranging animals, these spotted dolphin, and they don't really do well in captivity at all. I only know 2 that have survived in captivity at the Taiji Whale Museum, and I'm not sure that both of them are still alive. But my guess is these die and they simply get more, and they say, well, these are the same ones. He told us they were here for 6 years, but that's not believable. These are still wild animals. They die and they get more. That's what happens. What these 3 dolphins need is a champion. They need somebody in government with power, maybe the governor, to get involved, intervene, and release them back in the wild, and make it illegal to sell dolphins. The problem is if you release these 3 back into the wild, the fishermen might catch them again. As long as this guy's buying them and they're selling them, you've got to cut that off, that supply and demand. They'll continue to capture them as long as there's a profit in it. We're going to meet with the governor later this afternoon to see if he's interested in taking that on. There's no way to release them back in the wild without cooperation with the government. The government has to want to do this. It takes the cooperation of the government. You know, they have to do it. They have to want to do it. And if the governor does it, he'll send a positive message to the rest of the world about the Philippines' respect for nature. That's something that money can't buy.
So what's the honor of you coming over here?
We saw some 3 dolphins there.
Only 3. That's the bad part.
Yeah.
But the bad part is only 3, and also the bad part is that they are all males. If I could get my hands on a female dolphin, we could do some breeding and really put this place on the map.
Breeding? I thought it was the rehabilitation and releasing.
Well, rehabilitation, yes. Releasing is try to maintain 4 or 5 at least to keep this going and not shut down the whole thing. And we have 3, and sad to say, 99% you cannot have a female dolphin. I never understand it. I really don't know the technical name of it, but they are inner island dolphins.
How did they come to the facility? They get caught somewhere? Or?
The fishermen. The fishermen catch it and they are cut. I told you, they give it to us.
Oh, and then you sort of like fix them.
Yeah, we carry medication or they're sick.
So you have vets on the facility?
I know how to do it.
Are you a vet?
I'm not a vet, but I have been doing it long enough that I know that this dolphin, they need vitamins, they need antibiotics, how you have to feed them. The dolphins live in water, but they're really living in the desert. Like you and me, they need sweet water to survive.
It's illegal to catch dolphins, yeah?
Huh?
It's illegal to catch dolphins.
Internationally, it's not illegal. No, it's not.
In the Philippines, it is.
But Philippines is, we don't do it, okay?
Yeah, if it's a rehabilitation facility, ultimately your goal would be to release the animals back in the wild. We're here to actually help you with that. If
To do what? To release?
the animals back
No,
in the
thank you.
wild.
I don't need no help to release. I can lower the gate and throw them out, shut down the entire tourism in here. Nobody can go here. And tomorrow night, the fishermen have very nice dolphin steak.
I'm sure the governor will not let that happen.
What the governor want? Is governor there in the ocean waiting for the fishermen? What are you talking about?
Have a nice evening.
Welcome back again.
Thank you, sir.
And whoever has given you information, tell them please come here talk in front of me.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for your concern too. Huh?
Hello. Well, the three that are there now,
There are three.
there are three males. They are very close to their home range where their families are and where their neighborhood, you might say. They could be released back into their home range very easily, very, very inexpensively.
Actually, we're worried that the rest of the animals might just, die. So this particular facility may not live up to its name as a really rescue and rehab facility. This is, I wonder if you can read it, it's a certification from the Bureau of Animal Industry that they don't have any records in that office, meaning they have not applied or they don't have a permit to operate as a rescue or rehab facility.
It's a simple thing to do, really. It's just taking them home. They're so close to home, just a few miles from their home range. So yeah, it would be very successful, I think, to release them back with their family. They have families, but it seems they're being held for commercial reasons.
There was a sort of memorandum, and there was a contract. There is a contract. It was duly confirmed by the local Sangguniang during the previous administration. As a matter of fact, the contract will be for 50 years.
For the facility.
The island, the facility, the island and the facility.
It's not to operate a rescue and a rehab.
No, we have nothing to do with that. That is between him and the former governor.
But it's not a permit because
Yes.
no records available.
Yes, that's one problem we have with.
Given that there's much evidence that it violated some laws, it doesn't have permits.
Absolutely. You can hear from us. We will act on this.
That was real good. Well, I was surprised it's a woman governor. I was expecting a man for some reason.
Her last name is Ramiro.
Yeah, well, here's the pictures of the other governors. Look. There she is. In doing this work, I've always had better success with women than men. Politicians, women are better at this stuff. I'm very encouraged, yeah. It's looking good. We can just get those three dolphin back in their home range. That would be a lot. That would be a lot.
This is a recognition from all these active groups.
This is all the Philippine groups giving recognition to Ric for all his great work internationally.
Hi, Howie. Severino. Hi, Howie. Hi, are you all together?
Inihain na sa Kamara ang isang resolusyon para ipagbawal ang mga school field trips sa mga theme park na may mga dolphin at balyena. Samantala, nasa Pilipinas naman ngayon ang isang kilalang dolphin advocate na tampok sa Oscar Award-winning documentary na The Cove. Good morning, Mr. OBarry. Welcome to the Philippines.
Well, thank you. I love the Philippines. I'm glad to be back here.
Yeah.
My hero is Ric Valentino. I think he is a cutting-edge environmentalist, and the whale and dolphin international community are watching this and hoping he is successful, because a lot of these places, these dolphin amusement parks, would go out of business if they didn't bust these kids in. They make these deals with the school system.
Oh, Congressman Palatino wants to stop these school field trips.
Yeah, man. We got him that time.
Oh, they're going to be more angry now.
Oh yeah, that was excellent. That was really educational, and people, it gives them something to do. Don't buy a ticket. A lot of these places stay alive only because they make a deal with the school system, and the school system buses in hundreds of children to these parks under the guise of education. So we're urging the people in this country, that's why I came here, please boycott dolphin parks. And the problem, you'll see, the problem will go away.
Individual tickets.
Okay. There you go. You got that? No ticket, no laundry.
One inauguration 14-story senior which we call our latest pride, the Learning College. The other is the launch of the Generation Science and Technology Complex.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Hi.
Please sign my
Oh, be happy to. Wow!
Yes.
Fantastic. Is this black?
Yes, it's
Will it
black.
show up?
I hope it does.
Yeah.
You're my hero, Mr. OBarry.
Oh. Thank you. There you go.
It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. Hey, you are my girl. You're the man.
And filed the House resolution urging them and check because field trips are organized not just in the basic education level but also in the college level to ban field trips in these facilities with dolphin shows. We also asked them and check in that House resolution that it is not educational, the field trips in this dolphin show. So there are better ways to educate our young people about these marine mammals.
If this resolution goes through, guys, to my mind, maybe to Ric's mind as well, it's going to have a very big effect in Taiji, because the Philippines is a party to what's happening in Taiji. The country imported dolphins from there, and it's in a place called Ocean Adventure.
And it's not Filipinos who are making that connection. These are all Americans. American dolphin dealers who brought these dolphins from the Cove and Taiji to your country and connected you. And they would not be able to stay in business if it wasn't for this contract that they have with the school system. And this is a worldwide problem. If it was just dependent on walk-up business, they would go out of business and it would be replaced with some kind of cruelty-free entertainment. So that's why I urge you to support Mr. Palantino's resolution. This guy is on the cutting edge of some real serious environmentalism.
If we convince the rest of the other schools in the Philippines not to watch dolphin shows, the killings in Japan will stop. That's our direct connection.
Find out what you're passionate about. Find out everything you can about that issue. In my case, it's dolphins, but it could be toxic waste. It could be women's rights. It could be homelessness. It could be anything. Find out everything you can about that subject, and that will give you power. And you'll know exactly what to do.
Excellent. Here we go.
Sir, can we just have one last photograph with AG and May?
AG, go, go.
Dolphins that were captured in the cove, not by Filipinos. Filipinos didn't do this. It's Americans who did this to your country. You are now connected to the cove forever, the Philippines, because of these Americans who own Ocean Adventure. It's all about awareness. Art is one of the best ways to work on an issue. Painting or music. Look at the 3-minute song.
Yeah.
You know, Bob Dylan songs that just move millions of people. Wow, this is really exciting. Thank you.
Thank you po.
Ric, is this the first time you painted a dolphin?
The first time I painted a dolphin? No, not really. Actually, for many years, I kept the Dolphin project alive by selling my painting. It didn't start that way. I painted because it excited me, not to sell the painting.
All right.
But people wanted to buy them, so.
First time, I'm happy. It's for the good of our dolphins in the seas.
How do you feel about the overwhelming support of the Filipino community for your advocacy?
I'm just in awe of actually what's going on here with all of these paintings. You know, it's incredible. This habitat dictates behavior. That's a given in science. This habitat is becoming a very happy habitat because of all of these paintings. And I think it's just awesome. They're everywhere. It's beautiful.
Do you have a message for them? For the lawmakers?
Do I have a message for the lawmakers here?
Yes,
well, please support Congressman Pelletino's resolution to ban this busing school children to Ocean Adventure. That will solve the problem. Thank you. I have had a lifetime of once-in-a-lifetime experiences. I have a bicycle, I have a mortgage, I don't have much of a savings. I could never retire because I work for an environmental group. Well, I think my most memorable experiences, and there have been more than one, I've actually had this same experience, is to rescue a dolphin from a swimming pool, remove it from the concrete tank and put them in a natural sea pen in their home range, heal them, and release them back into the wild. The moment they leave captivity and swim back into the wild is my most memorable experience. And we have learned, or should have learned, that they are sonic creatures. They live in a world of sound. They have a larger brain than we do, and they don't belong in captivity. That's the first thing we should have learned. You don't have to have dolphins in captivity in order to educate people about dolphins, any more than you have to have dinosaurs in captivity to educate people about dinosaurs. Capturing dolphins from the wild and calling that conservation. And nobody's paying attention. It just goes over everybody's head. You control them with their food, with the food deprivation. Everything they do is for food reward. And they rebel against that. Good to see you. How long has it been since I've been here?
10 years.
You don't age. You don't seem to age in 10 years.
This is Carl, by the way. She's going to be our videographer.
How do you do?
That he's getting some quote-unquote rescue dolphins. And he puts this at the facility where he says he's rehabilitating them. But after some years, some of the animals are already dying. From originally 6 dolphins, they're now down to 3. And the provincial government now is questioning why the dolphins aren't being released.
So were the dolphins captured in that area or rescued?
They were quote-unquote rescued by fishermen who said they had, we saw this dolphin stranding somewhere and we're turning it over to this facility for rehabilitation, but they never released.
How long ago was that?
6 years ago.
Oh God, 6 years.
So tomorrow we fly back to Manila again on the next day.
Next day. So we stay at the resort there.
Yes, overnight.
Okay. For a dead dolphin, but for a live dolphin they get as much as $150,000.
That much?
Yes, so it's the captures of dolphins in Taiji is the economic underpinning of the dolphin slaughter. That's what keeps it going. And now, unfortunately, the Philippines is part of that because of not Filipinos, but Americans who are doing this. So some people say, well, they could live longer in captivity, or they live. It's not about that. It's about the quality of life, not the quantity. You can keep somebody alive in this very room we're in right now for a very long time. But are they really living? Living is doing things. Living is about choices and decisions. And in captivity, all that is taken away from you. We should never be applauding any wild animal performing for us. So there is a congressman here who is going to introduce legislation, and I think that's the first place in the world. So the Philippines is really on the cutting edge of this issue. I wish we could find somebody in America to do that. And what is his name?
Congressman Raymond Palatino of the Kabataan.
Raymond Palatino, if you're out there listening, thank you, thank you, thank you. And if anybody out there listening knows Congressman Palatino, please call him and thank him, because this is the way to go.
There's this Iranian guy who wants to have a facility somewhere down in Mindanao. What he's doing is
Para sa inyong mga tanong, tawag lang o text sa 0926-680-8283. Mag-break muna tayo dito lang sa Pinoy Scientist.
On the Dolphin Trail, that's where I've spent most of my life, on the Dolphin Trail.
Ang ating special guest ngayon, all the way from Taiji, Japan, isang sikat na environmentalist and dolphin activist, Mr. Ric OBarry.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here. I was here 10 years ago.
Can you tell us, why are you here in the Philippines?
Well, there are dolphins in the Philippines that were captured violently in the Solomon Islands and in Taiji, Japan. And anybody listening who has seen the movie The Cove know how violent those captures are. The fishermen who killed the dolphins, they only get maybe $500